वासुदेवेन्द्र योगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधो विधीयते। अवस्थात्रय किं जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्ति अवस्था। जागृत अवस्था का श्रोत्रादि ज्ञानेन्द्रियैः शब्दादि विषया ज्ञायते इत्यत् सा जागृत अवस्था स्थूल शरीर अभिमानी आत्मा विश्व इति उच्यते। स्वप्न अवस्था का जागृत अवस्थायां यत् दृष्टं यत् श्रुतं तज्जनित वासनया निद्रा समये यः प्रपंच प्रतीयते सा स्वप्न अवस्था सूक्ष्म शरीर अभिमानी आत्मा तैजस इति उच्यते। ततः सुषुप्ति अवस्था का up to this we have seen it. So as we have been discussing आत्मा कह स्थूल सूक्ष्म कारण शरीरात व्यतिरिक्तः. So that is me who is free from, who is more than स्थूला the gross body, सूक्ष्म the subtle body, and the कारण शरीर the causal body. And also says अवस्थात्रय साक्षी स्वरूपः, the one who witnesses all the three fields of experiences. So when it says that avasthatraya, so based on that we are seeing the waking state. Already we have seen in details that in waking state definitely there is some identification. So unless I identify with my sense organs, unless and until there is deha abhimana, what we call as technically deha abhimana, or you can use the word called stula sharira abhimana, both way. Or if you want to talk more technically, golaka abhimana, which we have talked, the physical part of this, all the sense organs. Definitely no cognition can take place. So in short, that also we discussed, when I identify, the Atma identifies, or there is abhimana identification with this sharira, sukshma, stula sharira, that time I am called as Vishwa. Then of course during dream what happens, whatever I have seen, experienced, heard in my waking state, so out of that impression, from that vasana, some type of mixture happens, some type of confusion happens. So from that I start experiencing. So that means, please understand, that's why we say that dream does not give any new experience. Dream only rearranges your experiences. Sometimes people say rearranging the experiences, some people name it as new experience. That's why a dream never, please understand, a dream never gives a new experiences. So whatever you dream, you must have gone through. If not this life, some previous life. So some types of confusion, some type of mixing up takes place in dream. So here again, there is also identification. Unless you are identifying, of course here identification happens without your knowledge, with your indriyas, with your sense organs. So here that to present that was being said that Sukshma Sarira Abhimani. So there Stula Sarira Abhimani, here Sukshma Sarira Abhimani, me gets identified. So there is some type of identification with my subtle body, and that is called as here Taijasa. Okay, fantastic. Now what about this Sushupti Avastha? There we stop. Tataha. Then Sushupti Avastha kaha. So what is Sushupti Avastha? What is deep sleep? Let us read.
aham kimapi na janami sukhena maya nitra anubhuyate ite sushupti avastha.
See, very interesting thing to look at this deep sleep. When all other two, you experience something, both in waking and dream, you experience something. Whereas in sleep, you experience nothing. That experiencing nothing is another experience. Can you see this point? That's why what you say, aham kimapi na janami. I do not know anything. I slept like a log of wood. You understand? These are the expression, okay? Nothing I knew. Only others knew what happened to me, okay? That's my addition, okay? The way I started snoring or shouting because out of dream, whatever, only others knew, okay? I slept nicely. But I do not know anything. Aham kimapi na janamiti. That I don't know anything. That knowing nothing is another type of knowledge or not? Experiencing nothing is another type of experience or not? So that means in the deep sleep, that's why the confusion which I tried to explain last class and I stopped it. So the scientific research that was they were doing, and they came up with this condition that in deep sleep there is no alpha omega, there is no movement at all, there is no thought at all. That was the earlier research. But we don't believe it. You can see it here. Aham kimapi na janami. I don't know anything. That I don't know anything, there has to be some wave. Unless there is some wave movement, you cannot come to a conclusion that I don't know anything. To know that I don't know anything, there has to be technically some wave has to move. And we call as blank wave, which Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks very nicely in details while explaining about Nidra. So here, now recently, as I told you, few years back, they have come, yes, there is a blank wave moving. That's why always I say, what is scientific research? Please understand. One thing I learned from one person, actually he was a nominee for Nobel Prize for this thing, physics, quantum physics especially. So I had a great opportunity to meet him closely when we were studying under Puji Swamiji. And he used to come to attend regularly classes with Puji Swamiji, and he has written many books, and unfortunately he did not get so far Nobel Prize. And his research is related to this, life after death and reincarnation, all these things. Fantastic. So then of course we are very close because as he was staying in the ashram, of course we used to go for a walk and talk few things. And interestingly, one day also Swamiji asked him to talk, to address all of us. He was such a great scientist. Sorry. He nicely said, look, I am coming here to understand what scripture talks. And when scripture talks, people think it is, religious approach. It is not scientific. So I take all this idea, present scientifically. Means, you probably said, this logical mind wants only logic, nothing else. So I take all this idea, present logically, and that I call as research. You understand? This is the truth, this is the reality. Just observe science. What is hypothesis? Hypothesis is nothing, please understand, a faith, a belief. And this hypothesis has to be proved. That's why I always say scientific research means what? It's manipulated data. Like the best example I give about tea and coffee. Now corona example we can give also. Okay, don't worry, okay? That's the present example. Corona example we can give left, right, okay? To declare pandemic, $50 million. Somebody gave pandemic.
because he had his agenda to achieve. And like coffee and tea, because coffee board will engage few scientists, researchers, that in next year you have to come up that coffee is best for body. Because they know next year coffee sales are going to go down. So lot of research will be there, manipulated data they will to take it such a way, then coffee is the best for body. Then tea board will discover, okay, now tea sales is going down, what to do? Now they will invest so much money with the researcher to come up next year, means another 6 months, after 6 months, another paper. No, tea is better. And a constant fight, you just observe this journals, constant fight between tea and coffee. Until now, I personally do not know who is what. This is called scientific research. And you know, this financial market research, all research means what? Manipulating data based on your wish, your benefit. And you accept it because logical mind, your thinking is logical, so you accept blindly. Please understand, one should have common sense. However, here it says, aham kimapi na janami, in sleep, that you don't know anything. That when you say I don't know anything, that is a knowledge, that I have to acknowledge it. And after that says, sukhena maya nidra anubhuyate. I experienced, that's why I was happy. In fact, I did not know anything. That's why we say in sleep everybody is happy. That's why everybody loves to sleep. Because there is no worry, there is no anxiety. Why there is no worries and anxieties? Please understand. This is the point you have to understand. In waking state, I have called stula sarira abhimana. I identify with gross body and related to gross body all indriyas, all sense organs. And in dream, I identify with Shukshma Sarira, that is identification. And we have discussed in details what is gross body and what is subtle body. So related to that, the experience happens. Now in deep sleep, I identify with Karana Sarira. So with the causal body. So when I identify with the causal body, so causal body by itself is what? Ajnana Swarupa, as we have seen, Anadi. And of course, by default, you are happy. But only problem is how long you will be happy, you do not know. That's why I say, ignorance is bliss. Total ignorance is bliss. But how long, nobody knows. This is a big problem, okay? If this total ignorance is bliss and remains bliss all the time, I'll tell you, everybody will love to do what? Eat and sleep. In fact, everybody, there is a one character we had called Kumbhakarna, the brother of Ravana, okay? So, interestingly, because a lot of things, because he wanted different thing altogether, but suddenly Saraswati, the goddess of speech, goddess of knowledge, she went and sat on the tongue, okay? Because he definitely, this fellow is going to ask something destructive thing. And of course the boon will come from Brahmaji. So instead of that, got twisted and he asked for not, I want to sleep. So he will, what whole life, what he will do? He will sleep 6 months. Get up, again eat, and again sleep. But poor fellow, even though he had a boon for 6 months to sleep, but please understand, after 6 months he has to wake up. So that means this bliss is there. Ignorance gives bliss, but it is not permanent. Definitely it will come and again go away. Interestingly says, when I identify with this Karana Sarira, definitely I am called here as Prajna. So to summarize the three, I, when identify with the gross body, that time I am called Vishwa. I, when identify with the subtle body, I am called Tejas. I, when identify with the causal body, I am called Pragya. Okay, I understand. Now, as we were discussing Atma, because let's go back to that, because that is the point. So what was being discussed? There it was being said that Stula Sukshma Karana Sarirat Vyatiriktah Pancha Koshatitah. So I am someone who is more than 5 koshas. So when he says 5 koshas, 5 sheath, koshavatiti koshaha, 5 layers, 5 coverings. Like, we'll be seeing details. Now you may think, oh, this is something, is it different from these 3 bodies? Is there anything different? No, please make it very clear. This 5 koshas is part of 3 bodies. So let us read who are they first, then we'll try to explain. Pancha koshaha ke annamayaha pranamayaha manomayaha vijnanamayaha anandamayaha cha iti. And if you want to make it more comfortable to read, you have to say annamaya koshaha, pranamaya koshaha, manamaya koshaha. So everywhere you have to add koshaha. So he says that these are the 5 koshas, as though there is a covering, but in reality it is not covering, because many people will say, I have heard somebody said, oh, so Atma, because I remember one Swami was teaching Atma. So how does he teach Atma? I am not telling you jokes. So he'll say, do you know, first thing is, Atma is beyond 3 bodies. So what he will make? 3 people he will make to stand in front of him. So Atma is beyond 3 bodies. So what will do? One will jump, one will jump. So this is gross body, this is subtle body, this is causal body. Now behind who is standing, that is called Atma. I am not telling jokes, I have seen it, okay? Then Pancha Koshatitah, beyond 5 layers. So how? When you keep peeling the onion, you have to keep peeling one layer after another, because all the outsides are waste, not good. So that's why you have to keep peeling out all these annamaya koshaha, pranamaya koshaha. So these are the layers, please understand. These are the confusion, the person is confused and wants to confuse everybody. And this is the market, please understand. So here it's being said very carefully, this 5 koshas is not there different from 3 bodies. In short, we can look at. As I told you, it is as though a layer, as though a covering. And all these 5 koshas are divided or will fit into 3 bodies. So the annamaya kosha is nothing but stula sharira, gross body. And of course, the anandamaya kosha is nothing but karana sharira. And in between, pranamaya, manomaya and vijnanamaya. So these 3 koshas are nothing but sukshma sharira. So once more, annamaya kosha, we'll see in details what is annamaya. Okay, if you want to know, I can tell you. Annamaya means made up of food. So layer of food, okay. So you can say the gross part. So that means related to gross body. Pranamaya means that energetic layer, if you want to say, energetic portion of the body. Then manomaya, psychological functioning. Emotional, which is called also emotional functioning, both psychological and emotional. And vijnanamaya, your rational thinking, your intellectual thinking. So these 3 put together is called sukshma sharira, subtle body. Anandamaya means the happiness, where you are able to relax, you are able to rejuvenate, you are able to withdraw yourself to yourself. So that is called Anandamaya Kosha. That is related to Karana Sharira, causal body. Okay? These are the three bodies, how it gets divided into 5. Okay? But I would like to know in details what is all about it. Let us read. Annamayaha kaha annarasena eva bhutva annarasena eva vriddhim prapya annarupa prithivya yat viliyate tat annamaya koshaha stula shariram. Says very carefully and nicely. What is Annamaya? When the question is asked by the student, answer comes, the teacher answers. Anna rasena eva bhutva. So this Annamaya kosha is made up of Anna, the food. That's why beautiful the word Anna means what we call food, which is not that great word. So in Sanskrit it is called Anna. Adyateti Anna. That which is being eaten. That is called food. And later on it becomes ati iti, that which eats. So Anna, in the beginning you eat. The food in the beginning you eat. Later on what happens? The food starts eating you. Because after some time your food will start consuming your body. You understand? So you say, oh, food is not good for you. Hey, food is not good for you, or you are not good for food. For example, say, oh look, chocolate is not good for me. Hey, chocolate is not good for you, or you are not good for chocolate. Why can't you accept the truth? Hey, you are not good for the chocolate. Better accept it. Respect at least chocolate, okay? Coming back. Anna rasena eva bhutva. This, the Annamaya, what we call as Annamaya, is nothing made up of food. So when you eat, the rasa, sapta dhatus, it creates sapta dhatus. And this sapta dhatu starts growing. And what happens? Anna rasena eva bruddhim praptya. And whatever you eat, automatically what happens? From khadya, rasam, rasa rakta, means first it becomes a fluid. From fluid it comes rakta, the blood, and from blood starts coming flesh, then comes bone marrow. All this development happens. Now he says beautifully, being this made up of food, out of that food juice or fluid, now again it starts growing also, flesh. That's why if you look at your body, I do not know how much in Indian case how much rice you have taken. If you put like whole room, and of course in Italian case how much pizza, pasta you have taken. Just imagine. And remember, everything is being condensed with this small body. Okay. From your childhood till now, how much you have consumed? Just imagine. Store in one place, and remember you are carrying with you. You can say, please don't ask us to look at it, okay? Please, we cannot look back. It's very bad. However, don't worry. And Anna rasena eva bruddhim praptya. This Annamaya Sharira again grows. Annarupa prithivyam yad viliyate. That's the most important aspect. Again, it will merge in this Prithvi, this earth, in the form of food. And what is that? That is called Annamaya Koshaha. And in short, that is called Stula Sharira. Means what you call as your body, gross body especially, is made up of food, grows, whether when we say no, horizontally or vertically, that you know, okay, whichever way it grows, okay. And it grows because of the food. And don't worry, whichever way it may grow, later on what will happen? Again it will merge in this earth as food for somebody. Can you see this point? Imagine, suppose your body falls down somewhere. After a few days it starts bloating. Lot of bacteria. And of course the bird and other things, ants, everybody start eating. Because after all, this body is a food for something or somebody. So that one has to understand that after all, food is nothing, body is nothing, but is a food for somebody. What I call as my body is a food for somebody. Remember. It's an amazing thing to understand. In fact, in this regard, because long time, no story, nothing is coming, I do not know why. Generally, always, I try my best to bring some jokes and stories. But let me bring, this is a very popular incident that had happened with one of the great saint called Odia Baba. And he was very famous. And he was really one of the great saints. Towards his end of his life, so there was a wound in his hand. And because of the wound, there was he did not clean, and of course the pus and all these things was there, not cleaned properly. So sometimes, he will be lying down. And because the pus was there and all these things, then ants started going. Because ants keeps moving everywhere, and wherever they find food, they go. So for them, that is the best food. So the ants were climbing up his hands and trying to eat this pus. And what this Odia Baba was doing, because sometimes he shakes his hand, so automatically ants falls down. So when ants falls down, what he used to do is, he will lift the ant very carefully and again put it there. And somebody saw, what is this? Generally everybody claims, okay, go, or kill, whatever, what is doing? He said, hey, look, after all, this is food for them. Let them eat and enjoy. What I am going to lose? Can you see? So this is called understanding. Is after all, this body is food for somebody. This is called not to have deha abhimana. The whole purpose is teaching is here not to have identification with your body. So we go through all the stages. Not to feel proud of my body. Not to feel proud of, later on we'll see, not to feel proud of my mind. Because if this is called pride. What is pride? Remember, wherever you have weakness, there you have pride. Unless and until you have weakness in you with reference to a person or thing or object, with reference to that person, that thing, you will have never pride. So whenever you are proud of something or somebody, it shows or it reflects directly that you have weakness for that. That's why a conscious person cannot express pride even if you are proud of. Please understand. Even if you are proud of, you cannot express. Because the moment you express your pride, means what? Indirectly, you are expressing your stupidity, your weakness. Can you see this point? That is called the first step of learning, and that is the first step of a mumukshu. Please understand. If a person wants to be a mumukshu, cannot afford to express one's own pride, even if the person is proud of many things. That is what learning to reserve the pride within one's own self. That is called constant fight, okay? This constant fight polishes your weaknesses, that which we'll see later on in the next courses. So coming back here, very carefully, I am trying to highlight here, that here the body that you have is made up of food. And you are holding on to this body for some time and is growing along with the food because of the food. And don't worry, after some time, food will start eating it and again it will become food for others. So in short, what you call as your body, it is not your atom. It is somebody. That's what we say, Do you know, if you ask your parents, what they will say? After all, this body belongs to me. Father will say, look, it's my body. You are the extension of me. Mother will say, of course, I held you for 9 months. In fact, I only nourished, it is me. Then, of course, your children, they will say, no, it is me. Please, after all, you are our body, please wait. And of course, your better half or smaller, lesser half, they will demand, okay, half of belongs to me. The society will demand, it is our body. And the best part is, do you know what? The victorious, those who live there, inside the body, they will say, look, this body is only ours. We are living in generations, okay? This property that we are living in for generations. We do not know how many generations we have been living in this body. How can you say that it is yours? That's why you don't take care of your body, we will take care of it. Can you see? Now tell me, what is your body? So if it is not your body, this is the point to understand. That means what? You are just a caretaker. In fact, we say, you are a trustee of your body, not owner of your body. The moment you think that you are owner of your body, that time the destruction starts, your mind becomes gross. The whole problem happens. When you start thinking that you are owner of your body, then related to the body, all problem comes, you start owning up. Can you see this point? The moment you start thinking that you are owner of your body, you are the master of your body. Now related to the body, whatever problem comes, you can see those problems or those situations also you start owning up. And problem keeps growing and growing. That's why, may you know, you are just a caretaker, you are just a trustee. This body is being given to you for better usage. You have got the body for a purpose. Not to engross, not to indulge, not to destroy either, not to neglect either. So when you have this, so how to look at? Of course, when you look at other causes, it will be easier to understand how to go about it. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.